Last we left off, you had some downtime in Saltmarsh. You heard a bit of a commotion outside, and a bunch of dwarves had been running out of the mine. The two opposing factions of the town both kind of requested you to go into the mine and deal with it. You went down, you killed a bunch of spiders until you came across this massive hulking figure, which was a ettercap, and you kind of dealt with it very, very quickly. You are back in the Mariners Guild Hall, where your crew have been sat around ready to depart on your next venture. As you all reminisce on this, the past event, what did you do with the dwarves?
I guess I would have saved the dwarves.
You brought the dwarves back, so you didn't kill them. I didn't leave them there.
No.
The dwarves were very grateful to you. Bjorn comes up to you, the drunk first mate, puts his plate of food down, and after that he's like, we need to talk about funds. I haven't had a drink in 2 days now, and we're low on funds. We're continuing with your crew. How much are you paying us?
Captain Apathy, I have a question. We did say we were going to open the haunted house.
I thought that was still being refurbished.
Yeah, but we can make it a haunted house while it's being refurbished.
Or get people to pay to come to the building site.
Just give them a cut of our profits.
Give them a cut of the profits.
You haven't made any profit just yet.
Well, we're gonna.
We got £1,000 each from.
Did we actually get that money?
You have yet to go back and claim the contract.
We should go do that then.
Yeah.
Because we sneakily put each on, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can go to... It was Eliander who set it up for you.
Let's go to him then.
Great. So you put a finger and just hold off on the questions from your crewmates. They do over here, Kevin, mention 1,000 gold pieces each. He motions towards the rest of his crew, and you just kind of lead the troop of you up into Eliander's house. So you knock on his door, and opens the door to look at all of you, and just looking across at the pirates as well. And he's like, "Oh, we've heard of your good deeds in rescuing the dwarves. Come in."
I go in.
Okay, just take shoes off, please. Looking at coal from all the mine.
Take my shoes off. Actually, no, I don't. I have little bags that I put over my feet.
Take my shoes off.
Yeah, I'm not going to take my shoes off.
I can't reach my feet, so I walk backwards and just sweeping up.
Max will take his shoes off and force Doof to take his off.
A small pile of boots is now in the doorway, except for Oyu and Kevin, who are both traipsing mud through. Most of the pirates do it too, and you notice that their feet just stink. They're just coated in black. And as he pulls you back into his office, pulls the contract out of his drawer, flattens it out off his desk. He's like, okay, so 1,000 gold pieces, and puts a small sack onto the table in front of you.
I think you'll find, if you look at the contract, it's £1,000 each.
I'm sorry. As he takes out a monocle, peers at it really closely. Please, can you make a deception check?
17.
Oh, it does appear I must have made a mistake. And he's like, I'll have to go speak to Copperlocks, to release some funds, because you did free her people. It's going to take probably a few days of discussion to sort that out, but we've got a contract signed, so if you mind returning or sticking around for a few more days, we can definitely get your funds to you. But here, take this up front, and I'll get another. And he looks down at the rest of the crew, and he's like, I don't recall all of you going into the mine.
So it's only the people that signed the contract get the money.
True. Doofenshmirtz, did you sign separately?
Separately.
Just wondering. Well, it's 6,000 gold pieces.
We expect
I
interest.
pocket the first 1,000.
Right, you've got a day.
Copperlocks is a difficult woman to deal with.
We signed a contract, we expect our payment.
Apathy is also a difficult woman to deal with.
She'll
Oh, yeah.
haunt you. She'll haunt your children.
You can
You have children?
have a son, and you look into the distance, and just see a tear begin rolling down his cheek.
Or she'll join him in haunting you.
We'll come back tomorrow.
Give him 2 days.
Okay, 2 days I can work with. If you want any work in the meantime, then feel free to come back and I'll try and find you a contract of some kind.
The haunted house.
Oh yeah, let's see how that's doing.
It is about, a couple of hours walk up to the haunted house. And so you head up the path you went to originally. The house is in exactly the same repair as it once was. You haven't hired anyone yet to start work on that.
I thought we had.
So I
Oh
don't
no, it was the boat we got.
It's the boat,
Yeah.
yeah. The ship's pretty much done. You've seen it on the dock, and you've heard, as you've been in the Mariners Guild Hall, a bunch of people who were just discussing the strange sight on the seas. Some people are thinking it's quite whimsical and cute. Most other people are like, what is that? You were approached just yesterday by a famous painter who wanted to paint the coast of Saltmarsh and wanted your permission to feature the ship in its full glory.
I'd say yeah. Get our image out there.
And it'll be a few weeks before you head back from him.
We do have those lizard folk in our ship still.
Yes, I have on my thingy that I speak Draconic.
But I think we can use them for our salt bootlegging business.
Oh, what?
We're going to bootleg salt.
Are we?
What?
I think you're making that up.
Yeah.
I thought our business was going to be selling tourists haunted house trips.
No, I mean originally we can illegally sell salt.
But what are we doing?
You've gone up to the haunted house and you just stood there like having this discussion right now.
We need to get the haunted house into
Full
a
of
tourist
salt.
attraction.
Do we need
Well,
to
we
like
don't wanna-
hire actors?
Yeah, because if we do all the renovations, it's not even going to look ghosty anymore. So we don't even need to renovate it. We just need to sell
Leave it as it
tickets.
You need to make it so it's not going to collapse.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
that's what
need
the renovations are
control
about.
because we did burn part of it down and then flood it.
The original goal was to turn it into a hotel.
To be fair, we don't have to invest a lot into selling ghost tickets because
That's
it's
true.
already haunted house. We need to work out what the market's like. We need to do some market research.
Let's do that.
We have
Let's
the
just spend this
crew
whole
if we
session
need
doing
actors.
market research.
Paying them to make them look spooky.
We could put
Yeah,
Derek
well-
in charge.
Okay, so we need to find out if we should turn the house into a hotel or a haunted house. We need to.
Haunted hotel.
There you go.
Yes.
Is Saltmarsh like what's its purpose?
For the traditionalists, it's like a fishing town. They deal with fish and smugglers. For the loyalists, it's all about turning it into a city, a mining business, because there is obviously a silver mine and there's likely going to be gold in the mountains.
Would it be beneficial to both of them to have Saltmarsh as a tourist destination? They're wanting like the smuggling business and that, the traditionalists. They're going to want a lot of people coming to the place as more of a distraction so that more smuggling can go on. And then the loyalists, they're wanting to turn it into like a bustling city, and so they're going to want tourists to come and make it look busy.
You'll have to sell
Win.
the idea to both of the leaders.
Unite Saltmarsh in a common goal.
Yeah.
You get an investment from both of them, but just don't tell them about the other side.
Yeah.
Let's go do that.
The politics are getting a lot.
We need
What
like
if
a
we-
PowerPoint ready.
One of us tries to deceive them, one persuade, one intimidate. If one of them fails, can you try just a different method?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it as kind of like a good cop, bad cop style
Yeah,
thing, but
that
with
kind
like
of
3
work.
different things.
Yeah. I mean, we might not need it. They might just agree.
Let's go to the traditionalist first.
Okay, we walked all the way up to the haunted house, had a conversation, and walked all the way down again.
So you head back down to the Saltmarsh. The sun is already rising now. You've been up all night. As you head into Gellen's, and he opens the door, bleary-eyed, and he's like, "Oh, it's you again. I heard you rescued the dwarves. It's a bit early. I'm just gonna start closing the door on you."
Yeah, we have a business proposition for you.
I slammed my foot in the door so he can't shut it.
I offer him a cheese sandwich.
As Apathy says, he's got a business proposal. He looks into Ollie's hand, who's just holding up a cheese sandwich, and he's like,
I'm interested.
pulled open the door again, and he's like, didn't want to go with my last proposal, but I did promise extra work if you want it. How much money are we talking about dealing with here?
Well,
6.
it's more
6.
for you sending people our way. So you
Send-
know the old haunted mansion up there?
Ah, yes, of course.
Yes, we are wanting to turn it into somewhat of a tourist attraction. And we think that this would be beneficial to you because you're loyal to your whole smuggling situation and you want to keep that. If we bring in tourists, that's more of a distraction so that you can get up to your nefarious shenanigans.
Also, the people that are coming in, they could say we're going to the haunted house when actually they're here to smuggle. You use it as a camouflage.
Apathy, can you roll a persuasion check? And Kevin, you're helping, so both of you roll and then you'll choose the higher.
21.
Shall I just not bother?
Don't bother, I just rolled a 3. You have my ear. He looks over his shoulder.
And my mouth.
And my nose.
And my left toe.
And I use cheese sandwich.
Does he accept the sandwich?
Let me check. He takes the sandwich off for you and says, okay, come on in. As he takes a bite of the sandwich and begins walking in. And then he takes you into his office again. He's like, oh, I forgot to show you earlier. On his shelf, he had a bunch of ships in bottles. And he pulls one down, and you recognize it straight away as the disappointed bumblebee. He's like, I had this made just a couple of days ago. And he puts it back on top of the shelf.
Beautiful. I feel honoured.
I'm sure you're asking for a loan of some kind, or an investment into refurbishing the place, or opening up.
No, just that you will send travellers our way. And in exchange, we are providing a front for your smuggling.
If that's all you're asking and there's no monetary investment involved, then of course you have my full support.
Can we shake on it?
Then he extends his hand.
I clarified that this is a demonic binding handshake. I say it as our hands are shaking.
Please roll a intimidation.
10.
He just goes,
I jest, of course.
He releases your hand. If that's all you wanted to discuss, then motions towards the
We'll
door.
leave you to your cheese sandwich.
Yeah, he nods and gives a smile towards you. It's quite brisk as you all head out. You're kind of pretty tired at this point, but are you heading back to Oleander's?
Yep.
Okay.
Is he the guy that's getting us our money?
Yes.
Maybe we can have a little sleep and then go talk to him whilst we're picking our money up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a little sleep.
Are you sleeping on the ship or in the guild hall or tavern?
Tavern.
So you head back into the Wicker Goat and you just smile at the dude and he's like, it's the regular, I assume?
Yes.
On the house, as then he pours just this smoking drink and slides it across the bar towards you.
Thanks, Lanky.
You got it, Doof, and looks at the rest of your party and he's like, the rest of you?
Yes.
Okay, milk, please.
Bucket of,
Milk.
give me 10 minutes on that one. And he just points towards a table for you to sit at.
Have you got any Bimble's Best?
Oh, of course. It's just in the back. Let me, how many bottles?
5.
But the Bimble's worst is actually really good here.
Oh, that's the sausage.
Take a point of inspiration. That's really good.
That was brilliant.
As he goes into the back, brings out 5 bottles of Bimble's Best, passes the bucket to the barmaid, and the barmaid kind of sighs and walks out. As then you all eat your breakfast, have your drinks, or the bucket of milk is brought to you.
The barkeep doesn't like Schmerz because he's not addressed him even slightly or offered to serve him. Very dramatic.
Isn't Schmerz sober? He said, all right.
Yes.
Okay, that's why then.
They're mortal enemies.
Is there a reason why he's sober?
Mainly watching Doof.
You walk up to a room while Kevin's gone. Everyone can take a long rest now if you needed to recover any hit points or do anything. As you wake up, it is evening. You see the sun just beginning to set across the sea. As you're leaving, he's like, just settle the tab quickly.
Me and Kevin are both pointing to apathy.
Well, I need a...
Apathy's got the 1,000.
I point to Derek.
Derek.
Yeah, Derek.
I think
He's our treasurer.
And so he's asking for 3 gold pieces for the room and the drinks and the bimbles.
Go on, Derek.
He pulls out his 3 gold pieces, puts them on the bar. Lankus just nods, and you are free to leave the bar.
Is there like a shop that sells modes of transport?
In terms of carts.
In terms of, I have an airship that I'd like to sell.
What?
What?
Where did you get an airship?
I don't know. It's just in there.
Let me look at the cost of an airship.
I think it's 20,000.
I'm just gonna go in your
An
character.
option, and I thought that sounds cool. And then I came into the game, and that's how much it's worth.
And so you could pay for all the renovations for the house.
I know. I was just thinking this could probably be quite helpful.
You can definitely sell it to Winston. Airships, obviously, are pretty rare in here.
I don't know how this happened.
If you've managed to make an airship with your artificer knowledge, then why not?
I think I vote sell it.
I think we give it to charity.
Okay, we're ignoring all you. He doesn't get a vote.
No,
I think we
it's,
should rent it out. Rather than just
Yeah.
selling it, just rent it for hire.
That's a good idea.
Weekend trips.
no, do you still have the blueprints for it?
I could figure out how it works by snooping, taking it apart, putting it back together again.
We could turn the haunted mansion into like Howl's Moving Castle and like move the mansion around.
It would save us walking all the way over there just to argue and come back again.
I think we decide later.
I mean, it's Schmertz's decision. It's his.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know. Shall we just leave it for a hot minute?
We've spoke to traditional guy. We need to speak to the loyalty guy now.
Cool.
And then we can explore.
So you head off back to Eleander.
I offer him a cheese sandwich.
We went last time.
I've just eaten, thanks.
I shrug and start eating my cheese sandwich.
As he, again, asks you all to take your shoes off.
Put my little shoe bags back on. Flowers on them. Daisies.
He looks
Yay.
down at them and you just see him just raise his eyebrows as he pulls you back into his office. I've had to do a lot of persuading and it's not gone quite well. We kind of in debt to the dwarves now, but pulls open a small chest, opens it and you see a hefty sum of gold pieces in there. So I haven't yet separated it into equal value. You kind of arrived earlier than expected, but there's your extra 5,000 gold pieces for your trouble. Roll an insight check, please.
Oh, 19.
Better than what I rolled.
I got a 6.
I got 21.
Kevin, Duva, and Schmertz all realise that you've probably lost quite a bit of favour with the faction, but you are up 5,000 gold pieces, or 1,000 gold pieces each. So,
Well, I rolled a 1, so I'm completely oblivious to
Yeah.
this, so I'm going to go in with my sales pitch. So I have a business proposition for you.
he looks at the gold he's just given you. He's like, I'm not quite in any position right now to financially.
It won't involve finances. It's more just a mutual help. So we have a mansion, a haunted mansion, and we're wanting to set it up as a haunted hotel. And we know that you want to turn this city into a whole nice bustling city. What do you say if we can become a tourist attraction and then you can send tourists our way, so that way you get more tourists and we get more business?
Roll a persuasion check again.
6.
Can I roll it as well?
If you want to help, yeah.
The triple whammy. If mine doesn't work, we go in for intimidation and then what was the other one? Deception.
I got 20. I just repeat everything that Apathy's just said.
But
With
slightly
with a
meaner
mean
tone.
glare in your eyes.
He looks at both of you and he's like, well, I haven't been here too long, trying to do my best to change the city. The entire population is terrified of that place. We wouldn't go near it. The ghosts and such, and all the stories that have been told of the place. The townsfolk, they won't get within a mile of the place.
It's not the townsfolk that we're trying to attract to the place, though. It's tourists.
You're loyalists, and the Loyalist Manifesto says that you want to, expand the city and get more tourists in.
You don't even have to do anything. All you have to do is just mention
Promote it. You could use that as like a marketing thing, like, oh, even the townspeople don't go there, it's so haunted.
You're making very valid points. All you're asking of me is just to mention it around. I'll bring it up with Ida in the town council meeting. Besides that, though, there's only so much influence I have over the people here. In the meantime, though, if you do want any work, the council have need of you. Funds are, he looks at the chest, dwindling.
Wonder what that's like, ha!
We want to explore with our new ship. So is there anywhere that you might, know where we can go to who can give us such an opportunity?
somewhere with a nice beach.
Yeah.
There is one place, and he now turns his back to you and begins looking out the window, very dramatically, against the stormy skies of the evening.
We asked him if he had kids and he did the same thing, but he had a little tear.
He's just a very dramatic person, and he's like, we've sent 3 ships across, and none have returned.
Really, it's a very nice place if no one has come back.
Did they disappear on the island or on the way to the island?
We're not sure. We've sent 3 ships out to offer gift of peace to the island folk. We've seen ships, across there, so we know they are sentient beings. But as far as communicating with them, we've had no report back yet.
3 ships as gifts to this island, and now you're annoyed because they haven't sent anything back?
3 ships bearing gifts. 3
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
all 3 types of gifts.
What were the gifts?
Well, just, supplies, rope, sails, spices, salts.
That's like the peace offering equivalent of socks for Christmas.
Look, we've sent 3 ships across with the various goods. If you think you can put yourself together as a gift for the people and make contact as representatives of Saltmarsh, you'll be held in very high esteem amongst the town. Perhaps even get yourself a place on the council.
I wonder if they're a fan of fine foods.
Thank you for your devotion to the Loyalist Party and coming to me with these matters. He hands you a scroll. And he's like, they're the directions to the island, fine sailing, and hopefully see you back.
Let's go.
Let's go speak to the dragons.
Apathy, could I have that map?
There you go.
Throckmorton's job on the ship is navigator. Apathy's the captain. I'll use the cleaner.
What use first?
What's my role? Apart from Dragon Whisperer.
Doof calls dibs on the doctor.
Can I be someone who goes up into the little nest at the top?
That is a...
Bird.
The barrelman is in the crow's nest.
Can I be a barrelman and a driver?
you move the wheel to the top of the bird's nest.
I'm gonna be the driver if that's alright.
Doof is the doctor, and I think Schmertz could probably be the carpenter or something. You can fix things, can't I?
Yeah.
Derek can be the nest guy.
Okay, so let me clarify the role for a
Separate.
second. Derek is the barrelman, Kevin is the helmsman, Frogmorton is the quartermaster, or you is the cleaner, Apathy is the captain, Doof is the doctor, Schmertz is the carpenter.
Doof's technically the surgeon, because all you do is like chop people's limbs off with a saw.
Or you as first mate.
No, we've already got a first mate. He's John.
Bjorn can be the bosun.
What's the bosun?
Howson.
But the bosun is the guy who just runs the general maintenance of the ship.
Oh yeah, the boring stuff. You can have that.
So you head onto the ship, you notice that there is a significant lack of lizard folk. But as you look up, you've got the yellow and black sails. It's now got its wings bolted on. It has the bee sting on the back. And at the front, you've got a carved figure of Apathy as the figurehead. The disappointed bumblebee is painted along the back of the ship. So your ship is now completely rebranded and unrecognizable from the Sea Ghost.
Where are the dragons?
The lizard folk are, you go into the room, Kevin, to say hello, and they are not there. All the belongings are still there, and the pseudo dragon is still in its cage and shrieking.
Can we track them down?
You can ask around the dock.
Where's my lizards?
It takes a while to learn the truth, but rumors are spreading around, and most of the stuff you've gathered is that they've been arrested.
Arrested? They can't arrest them. They don't speak the language.
Saltmarsh have
Arrest people.
a lot of bad dealings with lizard folk in general, and they've been taken
Is
captive.
there anyone they have good dealings with?
Well, that's stupid because I wanted to speak to them.
But I tried.
Yeah,
not
did
to.
they get their
They're
equivalent
really-
of a phone call?
You're in good standing right now, so you can have conversation at least.
But can't we get them released again? I wanted them to be part of our crew.
Get one carrier pigeon.
Did
But
you
they
say
might
the
have
thing-
information. I want to speak to the dragon.
So we'll go gain some information that we may or may not need, and then go.
Can I speak to the little lizard?
Cool, what would you like to say to it? Because you can speak Draconic.
Hello, what's your name?
He crawls up into his cage a bit more. He's called Bims, and he just hisses that at you and just like shoots you.
Bimsel's best.
Bims.
Did he get left behind?
You see smoke curl from its nostrils and it nods its head.
Oh, I
What
want
did
to
you?
befriend it. Can I be its friend?
It whispers to you, just release me.
Why?
Claws now at the cage and the lock that it can't escape from.
What will you do if I let you out?
He looks at you, his eyes widen a bit, and he's like, friend?
Okay.
How are you letting him out? The cage is locked.
I have thieves' tools. I have a lockpick.
Can I cast animal friendship?
Yeah, you can. What's the save on the animal friendship?
Wisdom 12? Is that it?
Oof, 11. Kevin is able to charm this pseudo dragon, and it stops breathing so heavily as Apathy begins to work on the lockpick. It takes you a couple of minutes to work it out because the lizard folk use a very different set of locks. As you eventually manage to get the lockpicks move around, and then just like with a click, the cage opens, and the pseudo dragon peers its head out first, stretches its wings for the first time in probably a week, flexes them a bit, and then just lands on Kevin's shoulder. And then his tail just curls around your neck.
Oh, how big is he?
About that big.
Oh, I have a little lizard pet.
You can rename him if you want to. Now he's charmed by you.
What should we call our new dragon pet?
Liz.
That'll do.
Elizabeth.
Okay, let's take Elizabeth to the dragons.
All right. The familiar gladiator who arrested you originally pulls open the gate to let you in. And he's like, obviously, we're not going to release him to you just now, but conversation can't harm anyone. And he takes you through to the cells that you were once in yourselves as the three lizard folk look up at Kevin, recognizing you as the person who they played cards with.
Yeah, I'm just stroking Elizabeth. Calm.
Okay.
Why are you here? I speak dragony now.
They begin to explain that the smugglers were helping them get out after being arrested before, but of course they've been taken back as hostages and are due to be executed for their crimes. But they're going to be sent to the town of Seaton to be executed because the death sentence is illegal here.
Do they know anything about the island?
Okay.
Taking the map through the bars and like, no, we avoid this place too. Like, we've had ships go missing in that direction.
Kevin, ask him what's there.
Do you know anything about what's on the island?
People, threats, probably.
We're going to take Elizabeth, and she's our new friend.
Keep us safe and we'll look at each other. Like, if we survive, we'll come back and we'll pay you for taking good care of her.
I think it'd be cool to have lizard friends on our ship. We could
Okay.
hire them for the haunted house as well. Are we back on the ship?
So you head into your ship. the sails are raised, the anchor is pulled up, and you begin heading off into the ocean. Please have a navigation check from Throckmorton.
16.
You're able to stay on track. You're able to see the stars very brightly in the sky and begin to navigate your way around, which will take about 2 or 3 days to get to. And as you spend the next couple of days on the ship, late into the night, you see Derek look down and then turn around and begin just ringing the bell and shouting the word storm across. Assuming the rest of you are sleeping, you are all awoken by the sound of the bell ringing. What are you doing?
Securing the cargo.
Kevin straight away leaves the wheel and begins securing the cargo to the ship using the ropes that you've got to hand. Anyone else? Okay, I'm happy that he helps secure the cargo.
I help support the rum.
Doofenshmirtz heads straight to the rum and make sure that's completely secured down with much rope. The rest of you secure the cargo that's all loose and brace yourselves for the coming storm. Derek looks down and he's like, we're heading straight into the storm. As all of you have been securing the cargo, you realise that the ship is heading directly into a storm right now.
We have to take the sails down so it don't rip in the storm.
Kevin begins pulling the sails down, but will not be damaged as you head into it. Please can I have a first dexterity saving throw from everybody?
15.
Oh, that's not a 1. Okay, 10.
10.
21.
Can I use my inspiration point?
If you want to use it now, yes.
Yes.
Truck doesn't want to die.
15.
I'm just sticking my 10.
I think it'll only be Kevin then. But as you begin to lower the sails, one of the ropes catches and just falls down to your side. And as you begin to pick that up, a huge wave just whacks against the side of the ship, begins tilting slightly to one side as you fall over and hit the side of your head. The rest of you are able to kind of hold on to everything you've got.
I have wings. Will this help to secure ropes and stuff?
Yeah, you'll be able to re-secure them if you want to begin flying up, bashing against the wind though, so the movement will be halved.
Yeah. So that'll be 25.
Where's Derek whilst I'm getting battered?
Derek's beginning to climb down the crow's nest now. You see lightning flash against the sky.
Or somebody help me.
Oh, I think I can help.
Tie me to the mast or something so that I don't die.
I think Kevin will need you at the helm.
Right, I'm gonna go dash over to the helm and
Okay.
try and hold on.
So holding on to the wheel.
Trying to keep it steady.
I'll help with the wheel if it needs a bit more strength.
So please have a strength check from both of you.
So we're trying to make sure we're steering into the waves. 23.
13.
As another wave hits the ship and begins to rotate it away from the waves. Apathy and Kevin are holding on and just begin to push it. As you hear a significant scrape from underneath the ship itself. Something has torn or broken something. Doofenshmirtz, what are you doing, please?
Hiding in the barrel of meat.
Doofenshmirtz hide inside, and you just feel the shock waves of the waves hitting the side of the ship. People screaming up above, the crewmates panicking as you just rest inside the room.
Can I try to find the tear?
Throckmorton, you head below deck, and you notice a splintering in the bottom of the ship, and water that is beginning to come up into the ship itself from below.
I use shape water to freeze it and secure it into place.
You just put a thing of ice, which stops obviously the rest of the water from coming through. As another wave hits, you come in with a dexterity saving throw from everybody.
9.
18.
So Throckmorton, as the ice comes across, the wave hits you and you are thrown back against the side of the ship. You will now take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit the back of your head on the back of the ship. And also Derek, as he's halfway down from the crow's nest, splashed with water, he falls backwards and drops down. 4 points of bludgeoning damage as he hits the deck. The ropes that were above, they're now floating down, and the sails are no longer secure, so they're beginning to just droop down, pelted by the rain. And with another crack of lightning, you notice that the crow's nest is lit on fire.
Can I fly up and use shape water to douse the flames?
You're currently below deck, so the most you can do is get back up to the deck.
I'll do that then.
Have we got a fire blanket?
Yeah, I would have thought so. In your general supplies.
I will go climb up and put a fire blanket over it.
Athletics check.
17.
Taking the fire blanket out of the ship's repair kit. As the ship is swayed from side to side, you're holding on for dear life, and you're climbing up the rungs of this ladder. You just begin putting the fire blanket over, and smoke just rises. Waves are rising up all around you. The ship begins to steer out of the storm. Everyone is wet and exhausted, but you've succeeded in navigating the storm. As the sun begins to rise, you see far ahead the island that you've been sent to. Sails are currently down, the waves are still kind of rocky, but the storm is now behind you.
Schmertz, you're the carpenter, right?
I do, technically.
Yeah, I can unfreeze the ice and you can repair the ship, like as I'm unfreezing it.
Yeah, cool. Can I have some wood?
I rip out a plank of wood from the ship.
I'll fix that hole next.
Please can I just have an intelligence check from Schmertz?
Oh, that's a 6.
Okay. Schmertz is able to begin hammering on. It's not going to hold too long.
And now we head towards the island.
Can we secure the sail a little bit better?
Together begin raising the sail, securing the mast again, and the ship begins sailing onwards. And a few hours later, the anchor is lowered, and you're able to go out in the small rowboat should you wish to.
I make my own rowboat out of a barrel, just for me and Schmerz.
I don't have a gift offering, do we?
Did you just go, you're rubbish at giving gifts, and then just not do it?
Gifts have obviously not worked in the past, sir.
I still have that golden rose.
Well,
Yeah.
you should offer them a cheese sandwich again.
Maybe we should
Good gift.
scout them out, and I might be able to make them something.
Looking ahead, you see that there are two very distinct volcanoes on this island, opposite sides. The island itself is pretty small. It's jungle-like in appearance. Sand obviously shores around as you begin making your way over there in the rowboat. Doof just rowing behind with two little paddles.
Both of us.
Okay, one paddle each, just making your way over. You land onto the island itself. The boat just kind of flops to one side as you all pile out. There are some distinct pathways, so there will be some sentient creatures here, or you can just head straight into the jungle itself.
Pathway, I say.
Yeah.
Like that scene in Surf's Up.
Before we start heading off anyway, can we do it this way? Like a inside thing?
Yes, you can. Perception check.
16.
Got a 20 if that helps.
You don't see anything specific, but you do immediately get the sense that you are being watched. As Doof and Schmerz, you're looking up ahead and you see through the pathways there is brief movement in the trees up ahead.
It's just like Surf's Up, you guys.
Just let it go.
We should go towards those trees.
Let's do it.
And you begin heading down. You hear water in the distance, could be a river or a stream. Please have another perception check from whoever's in the lead.
I got a 13 if I'm technically in the lead.
There is very couple you notice, and so you will not be taken by surprise as 4 apes have descended from the trees and begin blocking your pathway. Please everyone roll initiative.
Okay, I'm going to use my warding bond. Let's go for Doof and Schmerz. You gain a +1 bonus to your armor class, and you have resistance to all damage. But every time you take damage, I also take the same amount of damage.
That's
Oh, well, that's bonding, isn't it?
So turning around, Ryu puts his hand on both Doof and Schmerz's heads, and a little halo appears on Ryu's head.
Right, okay. First of all, short bow. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
4 damage. And can I use my bonus action to throw a rock?
You can just make an unarmed strike against it.
2 damage.
Taking the short bow out as Ryu's blessing the two goblins, Apathy takes out a short bow and shoots one. It just bounces off its chest originally, and then you just grab a rub and just lob it at its eye. It hits the side of your face and it roars in your face.
Styrofoam Archer. That's a 25 with a natural 20 to hit. Yeah, 15 damage.
Okay, so as you begin turning into styrofoam, constellations begin appearing all over your skin and your arms as an arrow shoots out, hits this gorilla ape in its chest. It just turns like his skin into darkness. He looks down, he's still roaring in apathy. Turns almost into stars himself as he just dissolves into nothing. One of them, seeing his fallen friend, he looks around, targets Throckmorton straight away, seeing the mysterious stars, and he's just going to dash, pounds over the group. 16 to hit.
Nope.
And then with his fist, he's just going to punch Kevin next to him.
What?
You make 2 attacks, 14 to hit.
13.
6 points of bludgeoning damage
What?
as he just punches you in the back. The other two are going to just leap forward again. Let's just go for Ryu and Apathy. For Ryu, there's a 16 and a 13 to hit.
16 hits.
For, again, 6 points of damage. And Apathy, it's 11 and 16.
Armor class is 13, so
Okay.
16.
8 points of bludgeoning damage as this one again just grabs you and pushes you to one side.
Can I hit it with Hellish Rebuke?
You can hit it with Hellish Rebuke.
It takes 3d10 if it fails on a dexterity saving throw.
That is a 7.
Okay, so it gets 3d10 damage. 12.
So after it just punches Apathy and pushes you back a bit, hellish fire just surrounds you, trees around you notice burn, as then the ape is just hit by fire. His roar just fills the sky.
Alright, I'm just going to throw my boomerang because they jumped forward and ruined my last plan. 14 to hit,
14 hits, damage please.
4 damage on the first one.
Taking off the heart, Duke chucks it and just cuts a gap into its front, and as it lands back in your hand, Schmerz is just splattered across the face with the blood.
Short sword. Slash it. I've also got a Horde Breaker special. I can attack 2 different creatures with the same weapon. So I'll attack the one that's nearest me.
To roll you attack against with the short sword first.
11.
11 will not hit. So So you swipe down with your sword. He's just finished punching you as he pulls his arm away. And the horde breaker, please.
10.
Again, with the sword going across you, Derek parries it with his own sword as he's just getting it out. So as you swipe down, he just knocks off Derek's sword.
The one straight in front of me, I'm just going to hit him with my mace and then punch him. 13 to hit and 16 to hit. 9 damage.
Taking the mace out, you whack it across the side of his face, and you notice his teeth just fly out of his mouth. As then it turns around to roll again at you, and you punch him right into his eyes.
I'm gonna use my short bow, but then I'm also gonna do my sneak attack as a bonus action. So it says once per turn I can deal an extra 2d6 damage to one creature that I've hit with an attack with a finesse or ranged weapon. Okay, yeah, I'd rather use my daggers then. 23 for the first one,
Definitely
and
hits.
10 for the second one.
10 sorry doesn't hit him.
The 23, it is 4 damage.
Cool, so as you slash into this one dagger, kind of just throws your hand out of the way, and with the second one you just plunge into its heart. It falls backwards and dies.
Go into my chalice form, and I'll use Cure Wounds on Apathy, and then as a bonus action, I'll use Cure Wounds on Kevin. Apathy, you get 10, and Kevin, you get 7 hit points.
So you notice the stars on Throckmorton begin changing. So the constellation was already an archer. It now begins forming into more of a cup as he raises his hands, and light just begins to flood out of him as both of you are healed for respective hit points. The apes turn in unison towards the south area here where you came from on the beach, and then this one's going to leap back over and begin fleeing. This one is still in combat technically with you, so he's going to try and get a lucky shot in if he can instead of disengaging. 21 to hit, 4 points of damage as he punches you in the face and then begins running away. You do get an attack of opportunity against him if you want to take it.
I do. 23 to hit.
Go on, how much damage?
9.
And Apathy, I've just realised you also get an attack of opportunity, and so does Derek, as you all are within reach. Derek was a 10, so Derek misses. He just tries to attack and doesn't.
And 13.
13 hits.
2d4 plus 2 damage, so 10.
So as this one's fleeing, as it's trying to turn away, you takes the great club off his back and just whacks him. He kind of stumbles to the ground slightly, and he's trying to raise himself up. Apathy, you just dive in with both daggers, and he collapses on the floor, while this one is beginning to climb the trees and get away, as you feel that the ground is beginning to shake.
Volcano time.
Investigate?
You turn around.
Brace myself.
If you're not running yet, you see the horns of a Triceratops dashing towards you, and the dust rising around it. It's charging you full on.
Dashing out weird.
Can I
I want to
fly
dash
away?
towards it.
I will fly up.
I'm running away.
Fine.
As you all run up, you're noticing that there is a river in front of you, as this Triceratops is chasing you towards the very edge of it. It's a really strong current, despite the lack of movement on the screen. You have reached the edge of that as the Triceratops is gaining on you, and that is where we're going to end the session for today.